They say toughness is born, but what if it isn't? If you always thought Rocky Marciano was born with that stamina and endurance, you're wrong. What he actually did broke every rule, but turned him into an undefeated force of nature. This is the part they never show you: the pain, the punishment, the price he paid to never lose. Marciano trained so hard, the fight itself felt like a rest day. But that wasn't even the craziest part, and we'll get to it. But when Rocky Marciano trained, he did things no fighter today would even consider. He sparred so hard, he sometimes broke his own bones and kept going. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how Rocky Marciano trained and why no fighter today dares to even try it. Before he was the legend, he was Rocky Marciano, a tough kid from Brockton, Massachusetts. Born in 1923 to Italian immigrants, Rocky grew up in a home where money was tight, but pride was everything. His father worked in a shoe factory. Rocky dropped out of school by 10th grade to help support the family. And when World War II broke out, Uncle Sam came calling. He was drafted into the army, shipped off to Europe, and somewhere between cleaning latrines and hauling gear, someone noticed he could punch. That punch became his passport. When Rocky returned home, he was 23. Old for a boxer starting out, his early amateur fights, ugly, awkward, but he had something that couldn't be taught: hunger. He trained like every fight was his last shot at escaping the factory floor. He trained like losing meant going back to nothing, and that made him dangerous. He linked up with a crusty old trainer named Charlie Goldman. First thing Goldman said, "I got a guy who's short, balding, with 2 left feet, and a prayer." But what Rocky lacked in polish, he made up for in punishment. He trained with a chip on his shoulder and a boulder on his back. His philosophy was simple: outwork every man alive. And that's where things get insane. Rocky ran 8 to 10 miles every morning, not in sneakers, in combat boots, sometimes with lead weights sewn into the soles. In the winter, he'd wear a wool suit under his sweats just to sweat harder. While most fighters skipped roadwork when it snowed, Rocky ran harder. "Champions don't take snow days," he said. His daily schedule was brutal. 5 a.m., wake up. 5:30 a.m., 10-mile run. 8 a.m., breakfast. 10 a.m., gym, bags, mitts, bodyweight circuits. 12 p.m., light lunch. 2 p.m., sparring, 20 to 30 rounds. 5 p.m., heavy bag and medicine ball drills. 6 p.m., dinner. 7 p.m., 5-mile night run. 9 p.m., lights out. No days off ever for 12 straight weeks. He didn't just run, he sprinted up hills. He shadowboxed underwater. He swam across lakes. He punched a 300-pound heavy bag until his knuckles bled. He tied his feet together with string to improve balance. He did push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups until his arms gave out. He punched a tennis ball hanging from the ceiling until he could hit it blindfolded. His sparring, unthinkable today. Fighters now do 60 rounds per camp. Rocky sometimes did 100 in a day. He'd cycle through 12 fresh sparring partners without rest, one after another, punch after punch, pain after pain. Then there were the drills. The towel drill, biting a towel while taking full-force body shots. The medicine ball, dropped on his stomach, hundreds of sit-ups deep. The wood chopping, the underwater resistance work, the grueling bodyweight circuits. He didn't train to win. He trained to break the man across from him. And it worked. Rocky retired 49-0, 43 knockouts. No one ever beat him, not once. But here's the twist. He didn't just train harder, he trained smarter, in a brutal kind of way. Everything he did was about adaptation. Punching underwater built resistance. Hill sprints built power. Combat boots added leg strength. The string around his ankles forced control. The 300-pound bag mimicked heavyweights who could take shots and still keep coming. His whole camp was built on suffering, and every part of it made fight night easier. Archie Moore said it best. Fighting Rocky wasn't about dodging one big punch. It was about surviving 100 little ones that never stopped coming. But here's what makes Rocky's story different. It's not just about the wins. It's about why no one else has done it since. Modern fighters fight once or twice a year. They have recovery coaches, sports psychologists, sleep trackers, and cryo chambers. They fight to preserve. Rocky fought to prove. And maybe that's why he walked away at 32 undefeated. No comebacks, no breakdowns, just silence. Because deep down, Rocky knew the truth. You don't have to dance if you can drown your opponent in pressure. You don't need fancy moves when you can take a punch and keep swinging. And you don't need to be born with greatness if you're willing to suffer for it. Marciano's final fight was in 1955 against Archie Moore, a light heavyweight legend who had knocked out more opponents than any man in history. Rocky floored him 4 times before finishing the job in round 9. Moore later said, "I've never seen anyone absorb punishment and still punch like that. It was like trying to fight a buzzsaw." But by then, Rocky knew something was changing. He wasn't recovering as fast. He felt it in his bones. He wasn't slow yet, but he could see the curve ahead. So he did what almost no champion has the guts to do. He walked away. He considered a comeback once, quietly trained, measured his benchmarks, realized he wasn't the same, and never fought again. He left the ring on top, 49-0. The only heavyweight champion in history to retire undefeated. Why don't fighters today train like Marciano? Because sports science now tells us to rest, recover, and protect the body. Because 100-round sparring sessions would be considered criminal. Because fighting once a year for $10 million is smarter than bleeding for peanuts every month. But mostly because nobody else is built like him. There are natural athletes. There are hard workers. And then there was Rocky Marciano. Not tall, not fast, not smooth, just tougher than anyone who dared to stand across from him. Rocky didn't just win fights, he outlasted eras. No flashy ring walks, no social media, no sponsors, just will. And that's why his name still echoes today. Because even in an age of science, algorithms, and analytics, there's still something sacred about the man who simply refused to stop. But there's another reason people remember Rocky. It's not just because he trained harder or fought smarter. It's because he was honest. Honest with his pain. Honest with his limits. Honest with himself. When he felt his body slowing, he didn't blame his team. He didn't chase one more payday. He walked away, quietly, like a man who already knew he'd given everything. But sometimes greatness doesn't fade. It lingers in whispers in barbershops, in grainy black and white footage passed from father to son. They still talk about the man who refused to lose, the one who didn't duck opponents, didn't cherry-pick fights, and didn't chase flash. He just showed up, outworked you, outlasted you. And when it was over, he disappeared because Rocky Marciano didn't need the world to remember him. The world remembered anyway. So let me ask you this. Would you do what he did? Would you suffer like that for something you believe in? Would you bleed, break, and train until your knuckles shattered just to prove a point? Let me know in the comments. And if this story hit you the way it hit us, subscribe for more raw, emotional looks into legends who earned everything the hard way. And this is how greatness was really built.